Hey, ooh, what's this new smartphone? It's the Google Pixel 7a, Google's newest budget smartphone. But before I lose you at budget, listen up, because this phone may be wearing discount clothes, but it's driving a Ferrari. I've got the full review of this phone. I will lay out exactly what's new, what the phone is like to use. I'll put some of the features to the test, and I'll let you know what the pros and the cons are, and I'll wrap things up by telling you if I can recommend the Pixel 7a to you. Let's take a look at what's new with the Pixel 7a. The key upgrades include the addition of wireless charging, a memory upgrade from 6 GB on the 6a to the same 8 GB the Pixel 7 has. There's also an upgraded chipset for speedier, smoother performance, and Android 13 comes preloaded on the device. Also new, Face Unlock comes to the Pixel 7a, which wasn't on the 6a but is on the 7. One of the biggest improvements is to the smartphone's camera, gaining major ground over the 6a and even bettering the Pixel 7 some. In short, the updates list is also relatively short, but even these incremental improvements add value to the Pixel 7a. Let's dig in, starting with the camera upgrades. On the hardware side, there are a few improvements that should make the photos taken by the Pixel 7a a lot higher in quality. Now that is saying a lot, since in my reviews of pretty much every Pixel phone so far, all the Pixel phones have owned the road when it comes to having great cameras. When comparing the older 6a on the left to the 7a on the right, the front camera has jumped up from 8 megapixels to 13 and nudged a slightly wider field of view too. But it's the rear camera array which is really substantial. While the Pixel 6a had a 12.2 megapixel camera, the 7a builds on that and goes further with its 64 megapixel camera setup. New on the Pixel 7a's camera are some of the fun software tools that exist on other Pixel phones. You can now use Face Unblur, which sharpens blurry photos and portraits automatically on the 7a, as well as the new long exposure mode. Making a return are popular Pixel photo features, including better low-light photography with things like night sight, magic eraser, which is like free built-in Photoshop, and real tone for better and more inclusive skin tone accuracy. Now, these aren't new features, like I said, some of them aren't new, but they are new to the budget 7a phone. Let's dig a little deeper on some of the key features that make this phone stand out, and thing one is it's budget-friendly. Selling for $599 Canadian compared to the Pixel 7's $799 Canadian, it's one of the most affordable smartphones where you also don't need to dial down your wish list very much. Google claims Pixel 7a is the company's most durable A-series phone yet. So the test for this is usually face planting off a bike and seeing how it goes. But since I'm still upright and in the studio here, we will have to take Google's word for this for now. Well, I mean, for some of it. I tested out the Pixel 7a's waterproof capabilities with a pretty fierce dunk. Then I decided to have a little fun by dropping it in the dirt over and over again too. Pixel 7a is rated IP67 against water and dirt getting inside the phone, making it basically impervious. I can confirm even after dunking and dirt, the phone worked perfectly fine, including right after those tests. The screen is scratch-resistant with Corning Gorilla Glass 3. The back, meanwhile, is plastic, but it actually doesn't feel cheap. Google Tensor G2 is the guts that make the phone run properly, and this is the same chip that's in the Pixel 7 and the Pixel 7 Pro, meaning you're getting an equally powerful phone for a way smaller price. Now, what does that overall mean to you? You should see a faster, more efficient phone, a more secure phone, though since we're talking about slivers of milliseconds here when it comes to the faster part, I can't really measure and verify that for you. I can only say that this phone is very fast and extremely responsive. Watching videos on the phone was enjoyable. The screen is sharp and colorful, and the phone kept up with the demands of streaming. Toggling between apps was also seamless. On to the battery, and Google's marketing has touted the all-day battery, which lasts over 24 hours. I can say that from reviewing many Pixel phones, the battery life is outstanding, and you can stretch it even further by using the existing Extreme Battery Saver Mode feature. To get specific, the 7A has a 4385 milliamp hour battery, which is pretty much identical to the 6A and the 7. From my experience, Google phones have always been really long-lasting in the battery department and generally far outdo the lackluster performance of something like an iPhone. Another set of features in the Pixel 7a are the ones that are a bit less flashy but still helpful. Things like Call Assistant for call screening, which lets you use the Google Assistant to pick up unknown calls so you don't have to sit through a sales pitch, for example. Material You also makes a return, which lets you fully customize your phone screen and the app icons too. Overall, the new Google 7 Pixel A smartphone isn't gonna blow any minds with unheard of new features or great leaps in technology, but this is a solid smartphone with plenty of meaningful upgrades. On the Pro side, you're essentially getting the Pixel 7 smartphone at a much lower cost. Sure, the 7a is missing some of the big deal features and specs that make the 7 special, but in my opinion, you're probably not going to miss them. The camera is way better, and with that said, it's the kind of better that's hard to measure incrementally, but the end results are quite dazzling. The Pixel 7a is fast and responsive with a beautiful screen, colorful display, and a ton of customization options. So what are the downsides to this phone? Honestly, it's hard to find a lot. I did find the fingerprint scanner to be a little bit less than speedy, often requiring me to either reposition my finger to unlock the phone or to just go ahead and use the passcode. It's hard to say if that's just me not being used to precisely where to place it on the phone screen, or that the scanner under the glass is maybe not as responsive as it could be. Either way, with multiple ways to unlock the phone, like using a PIN code or even facial recognition, it hardly seems like a major concern. Truly, any major things you do feel are missing from this phone can be remedied simply by boosting your budget and upgrading to the full-service Pixel 7 or Pixel 7 Pro. Once again, I'm more than happy to say that I can heartily recommend the Google Pixel 7a budget smartphone to you. As I noted earlier, it sells for about $5.99 Canadian or $4.99 US, and you can get it from Google or from any number of cellular providers. Say, are you thinking about pairing a Google Pixel phone with the Pixel Watch? You should check out my review of the watch right now, or see what to know about the Pixel 7 and the Pixel 7 Pro right now.